You're continuing the Get It Done certified playlist for the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate, SAA-C03. Episode 10 covers questions 91 through 100. Work through each question before the answer is revealed. Question 91. A company is building a new dynamic ordering website. The company wants to minimize server maintenance and patching. The website must be highly available and must scale read and write capacity as quickly as possible to meet changes in user demand. Option A. Host static content in Amazon S3. Host dynamic content by using Amazon API Gateway and AWS Lambda. Use Amazon DynamoDB with on-demand capacity for the database. Configure Amazon CloudFront to deliver the website content. Option B. Host static content in Amazon S3. Host dynamic content by using Amazon API Gateway and AWS Lambda. Use Amazon Aurora with Aurora Auto Scaling for the database. Configure Amazon CloudFront to deliver the website content. Option C. Host all the website content on Amazon EC2 instances. Create an auto-scaling group to scale the EC2 instances. Use an application load balancer to distribute traffic. Use Amazon DynamoDB with provisioned write capacity for the database. Option D. Host all the website content on Amazon EC2 instances. Create an auto-scaling group to scale the EC2 instances. Use an application load balancer to distribute traffic. Use Amazon Aurora with Aurora Auto Scaling for the database. The correct answer is A. Host static content in Amazon S3. Host dynamic content by using Amazon API Gateway and AWS Lambda. Use Amazon DynamoDB with on-demand capacity for the database. Configure Amazon CloudFront to deliver the website content. Explanation. This is a serverless, fully managed architecture with minimal maintenance and high scalability on both compute and storage layers. Why not option B? Aurora instead of DynamoDB introduces more management overhead compared to DynamoDB's on-demand model. Why not option C? EC2-based setup adds server management responsibilities. Why not option D? EC2 and Aurora, not minimal maintenance, violates serverless design goal. Question 92. A company wants to migrate its MySQL database from on-premises to AWS. The company recently experienced a database outage that significantly impacted the business. To ensure this does not happen again, the company wants a reliable database solution on AWS that minimizes data loss and stores every transaction on at least 2 nodes. Option A. Create an Amazon RDS-DB instance with synchronous replication to 3 nodes in 3 availability zones. Option B. Create an Amazon RDS MySQL DB instance with multi-AZ functionality enabled to synchronously replicate the data. Option C. Create an Amazon RDS MySQL DB instance and then create a read replica in a separate AWS region that synchronously replicates the data. Option D. Create an Amazon EC2 instance with a MySQL engine installed that triggers an AWS Lambda function to synchronously replicate the data to an Amazon RDS MySQL DB instance. The correct answer is B. Create an Amazon RDS MySQL DB instance with multi-AZ functionality enabled to synchronously replicate the data. Explanation. Multi-AZ RDS provides synchronous replication to a standby in another AZ to enhance durability and availability. Why not option A? 3-node synchronous replication, not a configuration offered by RDS MySQL. Why not option C? cross-region read replica, is asynchronous and not suitable for durability. Why not option D, EC2 with Lambda for replication, manual and unreliable for production-grade replication? Question 93. A company is designing a cloud communications platform that is driven by APIs. The application is hosted on Amazon EC2 instances behind a network load balancer, NLB. The company uses Amazon API Gateway to provide external users with access to the application through APIs. The company wants to protect the platform against web exploits like SQL injection, and also wants to detect and mitigate large, sophisticated DDoS attacks. Which combination of solutions provides the most protection? Choose 2. Option A. Use AWS WAF to protect the NLB. Option B. Use AWS Shield Advanced with the NLB. Option C. Use AWS WAF to protect Amazon API Gateway. Option D. Use Amazon Guard Duty with AWS Shield Standard. Option E. Use AWS Shield Standard with Amazon API Gateway. The correct answers are B and C. Option B. Use AWS Shield Advanced with the NLB. Option C. Use AWS WAF to protect Amazon API Gateway. Explanation: WAF defends against web exploits, and Shield Advanced offers enhanced protection against sophisticated DDoS threats. Why not option A, OSWAF for NLB? WAF only integrates with ALB CloudFront and API Gateway, not NLB. Why not option D, Guard Duty plus Shield Standard? Guard Duty detects threats but does not prevent them. Shield Standard provides only basic protection. Why not option E, Shield Standard? Basic protection not sufficient alone for sophisticated DDoS threats. Question 94. A company has a legacy data processing application that runs on Amazon EC2 instances. Data is processed sequentially, but the order of results does not matter. The application uses a monolithic architecture. The only way that the company can scale the application to meet increased demand is to increase the size of the instances. The company's developers have decided to rewrite the application to use a microservices architecture on Amazon Elastic Container Service, Amazon ECS. What should a solutions architect recommend for communication between the microservices? Option A. Create an Amazon Simple Queue service, Amazon SQS queue. Add code to the data producers and send data to the queue. Add code to the data consumers to process data from the queue. Option B. Create an Amazon Simple Notification Service, Amazon SNS topic. Add code to the data producers and publish notifications to the topic. Add code to the data consumers to subscribe to the topic. Option C. Create an AWS Lambda function to pass messages. Add code to the data producers to call the Lambda function with a data object. Add code to the data consumers to receive a data object that is passed from the Lambda function. Option D. Create an Amazon DynamoDB table. Enable DynamoDB streams. Add code to the data producers to insert data into the table. Add code to the data consumers to use the DynamoDB Streams API to detect new table entries and retrieve the data. The correct answer is A. Create an Amazon Simple Queue service, Amazon SQS queue. Add code to the data producers and send data to the queue. Add code to the data consumers to process data from the queue. Explanation: SQS decouples producers and consumers, ensuring durability and scalability even when processing order doesn't matter. Why not option B, SNS topic? good for broadcast but not reliable for durable processing. Why not option C? Lambda relay adds unnecessary complexity and limits processing control. Why not option D? DynamoDB streams designed for change tracking, not ideal for inter-service communication. Question 95. A company has a multi-tier application that runs 6 front-end web servers in an Amazon EC2 auto-scaling group in a single availability zone behind an application load balancer ALB. A solutions architect needs to modify the infrastructure to be highly available without modifying the application. Which architecture should the solutions architect choose that provides high availability? Option A. Create an auto-scaling group that uses 3 instances across each of 2 regions. Option B. Modify the auto-scaling group to use 3 instances across each of 2 availability zones. Option C. Create an auto-scaling template that can be used to quickly create more instances in another region. Option D. Change the ALB in front of the Amazon EC2 instances in a round-robin configuration to balance traffic to the web tier. The correct answer is B. Modify the auto-scaling group to use 3 instances across each of 2 availability zones. Explanation. Distributing across multiple AZs ensures high availability while maintaining the same architecture. Why not option A? Multi-region setup, more complex and not required for AZ-level HA. Why not option C? ASG template, doesn't provide HA unless deployed. Why not option D? Round-robin ALB config, not a solution for fault tolerance or AZ failure. Question 96. An e-commerce company has an order processing application that uses Amazon API Gateway and an AWS Lambda function. The application stores data in an Amazon Aurora PostgreSQL database. During a recent sales event, a sudden surge in customer orders occurred. Some customers experienced timeouts, and the application did not process the orders of those customers. A solutions architect determined that the CPU utilization and memory utilization were high on the database because of a large number of open connections. The solutions architect needs to prevent the timeout errors while making the least possible changes to the application. Option A. Configure provisioned concurrency for the Lambda function. Modify the database to be a global database in multiple AWS regions. Option B. Use Amazon RDS proxy to create a proxy for the database. Modify the Lambda function to use the RDS proxy endpoint instead of the database endpoint. Option C. Create a read replica for the database in a different AWS region. Use query string parameters in API Gateway to route traffic to the read replica. Option D. Migrate the data from Aurora PostgreSQL to Amazon DynamoDB by using AWS Database Migration Service, AWS DMS. Modify the Lambda function to use the DynamoDB table. The correct answer is B. Use Amazon RDS proxy to create a proxy for the database. Modify the Lambda function to use the RDS proxy endpoint instead of the database endpoint. Explanation. RDS proxy manages and pools connections efficiently, reducing load on the database during bursts without needing major changes. Why not option A? Global database, designed for cross-region replication, not connection pooling. Why not option C? Read replica, does not support write operations and doesn't solve connection overload. Why not option D? DynamoDB migration, requires re-architecture and application refactoring. Question 97. A gaming company hosts a browser-based application on AWS. The users of the application consume a large number of videos and images that are stored in Amazon S3. This content is the same for all users. The application has increased in popularity, and millions of users worldwide are accessing these media files. The company wants to provide the files to the users while reducing the load on the origin. Option A. Deploy an AWS Global Accelerator in front of the web servers. Option B. Deploy an Amazon Cloud Front Web Distribution in front of the S3 bucket. Option C. Deploy an Amazon Elasticache for Redis instance in front of the web servers. Option D. Deploy an Amazon Elasticache for Memcached instance in front of the web servers. The correct answer is B. Deploy an Amazon Cloud Front Web Distribution in front of the S3 bucket. Explanation: CloudFront provides global content caching, reducing latency and origin load for static assets like images and video. Why not option A? Global Accelerator optimizes TCP connections not for content caching. Why not option C? Redis, best suited for dynamic data caching, not static media files. Why not option D? Memcached, similar to Redis but not used for content distribution. Question 98. A solutions architect is creating a new Amazon Cloud Front distribution for an application. Some of the information submitted by users is sensitive. The application uses HTTPS but needs another layer of security. The sensitive information should be protected throughout the entire application stack, and access to the information should be restricted to certain applications. Option A. Configure a CloudFront signed URL. Option B. Configure a CloudFront signed cookie. Option C. Configure a CloudFront field-level encryption profile. Option D. Configure CloudFront and set the origin protocol policy setting to HTTPS only for the viewer protocol policy. The correct answer is C. Configure a CloudFront field-level encryption profile. Explanation: field-level encryption allows sensitive data to be encrypted at the edge before being transmitted to the origin. Why not option A? Signed URL controls access to entire objects, not individual fields. Why not option B? Signed cookie, similar to signed URL used for session control, not field-level encryption. Why not option D? HTTPS only, ensures encryption in transit but doesn't offer field-level protection. Question 99. A company provides an API to its users that automates inquiries for tax computations based on item prices. The company experiences a larger number of inquiries during the holiday season, only that cause slower response times. A solutions architect needs to design a solution that is scalable and elastic. Option A. Provide an API hosted on an Amazon EC2 instance. The EC2 instance performs the required computations when the API request is made. Option B. Design a REST API using Amazon API Gateway that accepts the item names. API Gateway passes item names to AWS Lambda for tax computations. Option C. Create an application load balancer that has two Amazon EC2 instances behind it. The EC2 instances will compute the tax on the received item names. Option D. Design a REST API using Amazon API Gateway that connects with an API hosted on an Amazon EC2 instance. API Gateway accepts and passes the item names to the EC2 instance for tax computations. The correct answer is B. Design a REST API using Amazon API Gateway that accepts the item names. API Gateway passes item names to AWS Lambda for tax computations. Explanation: API Gateway plus Lambda is a serverless, auto-scaling architecture ideal for seasonal workloads. Why not option A? EC2-hosted API, limited scalability without manual intervention. Why not option C? ALB with EC2, not as elastic or managed as Lambda-based solution. Why not option D? API Gateway with EC2 backend, still relies on EC2, which limits elasticity. Question 100. A healthcare company wants to modernize its patient intake process by processing a high volume of handwritten forms that will be scanned and uploaded daily to AWS. The company needs to extract structured clinical data from these forms and make it queryable using SQL. The solution must scale automatically and require minimal operational oversight. Which combination of actions should a solutions architect implement to meet these requirements? Choose 2. Option A. Process the scanned forms on Amazon EC2 and store extracted data in a MySQL database. Option B. Upload scanned forms to Amazon S3 and use Amazon Athena to run SQL queries on extracted metadata. Option C. Deploy an EC2 auto-scaling group to run custom OCR software and store extracted output in Amazon RDS. Option D. Use an AWS Lambda function triggered by Amazon S3 to invoke Amazon Textract and Amazon Comprehend Medical. Option E. Invoke Amazon Recognition and Amazon Transcribe Medical to analyze the scan files for medical keywords. The correct answers are B and D. Option B. Upload scanned forms to Amazon S3 and use Amazon Athena to run SQL queries on extracted metadata. Option D. Use an AWS Lambda function triggered by Amazon S3 to invoke Amazon Textract and Amazon Comprehend Medical. Explanation: Textract extracts text from scanned forms, Comprehend Medical identifies clinical entities, and Athena enables SQL querying from S3 without provisioning servers. Why not option A? EC2 with MySQL increases maintenance and lacks serverless scalability. Why not option C? Auto-scaling EC2 with custom OCR more operationally complex than using managed services. Why not option E? Recognition plus transcribe medical not suitable for document OCR and form data extraction. Thanks for practicing with Get It Done Certified. Follow the channel for more certification practice content and share this episode with someone else preparing for the exam. Your next episode is waiting in the playlist.